the empire, the emperor, and so forth. Okay. There is a book, and it's called Chesronot HaShas. Shas is the acronym, the title of the Talmud. Chesronot is the missing pieces. You know how many missing pieces are in all these books? The Talmud is so smart and precise that in many of the cases, to get the answer, you have to go through 5 different tractates, and you put it like puzzle pieces together, and then you get the answer. And it's all censorship, that the information is not going to be so obvious. And you find the same thing in the Zohar, in other books. So there's a certain book that is called Chesronot HaShas. What is missing from the Talmud? Okay. And why? Because they removed in the Talmud verses, sometimes a whole statement, sometimes a word, and only because of censorship. If you go to Chesronot HaShas, this book, and it's not like a little book, it's a book. Specifically in Tractate Sanheddrin, page 107b, it says about a story. It says a story. It says about a certain Tana, a sage, Yoshua ben Prachya. Yoshua is the name, Ben means the son, Prachya is the name of the father. At the time, there was an evil king, believe it or not, a Jewish evil king. If you're looking at the book of Kings, the book of Judges, you're looking at the entire Tanakh, you'll find that most of the leaders were corrupt and did a lot of bad. It's not only today. There was a king called Yanai who supported the movement that is called Tzdokim, that were, of course, rebelling against the Torah, and he killed most of the sages of Israel. There was also politics then, there was a lot of corruption then, and who would you kill? The Torah, because they come and present the truth. Kind of like what's going on today, by the way. Today is vaccines and other stuff, and then it was whatever they had then. Nevertheless, this king called Yanai killed most of the sages, so Rabbi Yoshua fled. He said, I'm next. They're coming after the rabbis. Why? Because we hold the truth. We can present the truth. We can testify against the government, the kingship, the king. So Rabbi Yoshua floods. Floods, runs away. He takes with him a student, and he goes to Mitzrayim, to Egypt. And why a student? It's because, again, you have to imagine, like, let's say in our generation, we have a Rav Kanievsky. He has a student that helps him. It's called a shamash. Carries things for him, sets the bed, helps him. Okay, so he takes his student and they run to Egypt. Okay, after a long while, they come back from Egypt, and on the way to Yerushalayim, they stop in a hotel, something on the road. They need to rent a room. Okay. The hostess was very gracious, very kind, very polite, and treated them mamash like kings. Rabbi Yoshua ben Prachya says to his student, wow, kama yafa achsania zot. How beautiful is this host? The student turns to him and tells him, that's not nice. What, are you looking at her and you're saying that she's beautiful? And Rabbi Yoshua ben Prachya, needless to say, that's not what he meant. He meant to say, nice, this host is very gracious. She's very nice. She's unbelievable. But he used kama yafa achsan yazot. The student heard it or perceived it that he's saying, she's beautiful. And he tells his master, that's what you think? That this woman is beautiful? The student got upset, but the rabbi, Yoshua ben Prachya, got even more upset. Later on, the student asked him, what, you're looking at her eyes? Maybe they're hinting, maybe the day they were like with burqas and only see the eyes. I don't know. The point is that Yoshua ben Prachya was very upset at him. Why are you telling you, judging me? You think that's what I'm looking at? Started a little argument, and Yoshua did not want to forgive him. He was very upset. The Talmud says, I'm talking about the Chesronot HaShas, Halach oto aish, that student went, vezakaf levena, and he built himself a deity, and bowed down to idol. Then Yoshua went to his student and told him, I understand that you misunderstood that you thought I'm talking about the woman, that she's pretty. There was a misunderstanding. Let's forget about the whole thing. Water under the bridge, come back. Because it says that that student went and built himself an idol and bowed down to it. So he tells him, do tshuva. Come on, I'll forgive you. Come back. Leave your idolatry. The student tells him, I can't. Yeshua tells him, why can't you? The student tells him, because I learned from you that if you sin by yourself, you can do tshuva. But if you caused others to sin, you cannot do tshuva. And I have caused many to sin. Can you already imagine who's the student? The student of Yeshua ben Prachya is Yeshu HaNotzri, or as he's known as Jesus JC. Now it comes and says all these problems that came out from this encounter could have been avoided if Yeshua ben Prachya would judge his student favorably. Can you imagine the guilt of Rabbi Yeshua ben Prachya? I could have judged him favorably, bring him closer to me and forgive him, and he wouldn't go out and build himself an idol and then make others sin. And needless to say, what came out of it. And Yeshua ben Prachya understands the heavy price that it was already too late. Therefore he comes and teaches you and he tells you, Hevedan kol adam lekaf zchut, the importance of judging a first person favorably. He took it the wrong way, that the student is coming and telling, well, that's what you're looking at. You're looking at the woman. And of course, it was a misunderstanding. Happens. But now Yeshua really felt not only the importance, the severity. And can you imagine the guilt? And that's why this statement is so particular to Yeshua ben Prachya. Now, interestingly, there's a continuation to the story. And at the end of his days, he comes and tells him, repent. I'm talking about Yeshua ben Prachya. Comes to the other Yeshua and tells him, no, Khalas, we got the point. Repent. Turn around. Change your ways. Leave it. Leave what you did. He understood that as long as the person is alive, you can fix. Can you imagine? Years passed. And he still comes and tells him before he dies, I'm talking about Yeshua ben Prachya, comes to his student, another Yeshua, and tells him, repent, come back, change. He understood that there's no point that you can't change. I mean, if you leave this world, that's it. But even at the last moment, last breath of your life, you can change. Saying, in other words, that this judging a person favorably is giving another person hope. You can change. You can do something. You can be a better person. Leave everything. Even if you sinned, you can change. We can understand from that